Jaguars country, let's cry.
A very bad day. I am in no mood. This, today, is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time. I'm not in the mood to play with anybody.
So the Denver Broncos beat the London Jaguars today 21-17. The Broncos improved to 3-5 on the season, and the Jaguars dropped to 2-6 on the season. Let me just say first and foremost, let me get this out of the way. The Jaguar season is officially over. I know there's been a lot of skepticism the last couple of weeks, but the season's completely over for them. The Broncos still have an opportunity in the AFC West to still go out there and try to make a wild card appearance, but let me talk about the Denver Broncos and, their side of the ball first before I get into the Jaguars, because I always talk about the opponents first. Russell Wilson really didn't play that great of a game, but he stepped up and he made the plays necessary when he needed to the most. He took the Broncos down the field, 98-yard drive in the third quarter, put them into the end zone, and then the Denver Broncos obviously take the lead in the end of the game, go up 21-17. So great job by Russell Wilson today, man. 18 of 30, 252 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Like I said, made the plays necessary when he needed to. The running game really wasn't there for the Broncos as much. Only averaging 3.6 yards per carry and only 101 rushing yards as well too. But the Denver Broncos, they basically struggled for a majority of the game in terms of disciplinary actions. The Broncos had 12 penalties today for 81 yards. That is not very good at all. I believe they had 10 in the first half, if memory serves me correctly. And then third down efficiency, they were not good as well. 2 of 11 on third down efficiency, but when it mattered the most on fourth down, they were 2 of 3 on fourth down conversion. So great job by the Broncos there. Offensively, it felt like a lot of the game that they were stagnant, but in the second half, Nathaniel Hackett and this offense made the necessary adjustments. They went out there and they started playing good. And then when you flip the ball to the defensive side of the ball, you can't say enough about guys like Patrick Surtain, the pass rush being able to get after Trevor Lawrence on a lot of plays, and also just the secondary as a whole making the necessary plays. Justin Simmons came in clutch with that interception at the 1-yard line, which, really should have never been thrown, but great play by Justin Simmons, one of the better young safeties in the game. And this Broncos defense, we know statistically how great this defense is. We understand that this defense is elite, and they were able to limit this Jaguars offense, which was relatively stagnant, for a majority of this game, and they couldn't find any flow and chemistry going outside of the run game and Travis Etienne. So Broncos defense played great. Nathaniel Hackett, they desperately needed this game because it looked like his ass was on the hot seat if he did not win this game. And Russell Wilson, with all the scrutiny that he's been getting throughout the first, 6-7 weeks of the season, he needed this game mentally in order to get right, especially with this news coming out that he was doing high knees on the plane. I think a lot of people were clowning him for that, and, rightfully so. The Broncos needed this win, the fans needed this win, the front office needed this win, and they were able to get it in London over the London Jaguars. Now let me talk about the Jaguars. So really talking about the Jaguars overall and what they did. Third down efficiency, the Jags were 4 of 11, not good there. They weren't picking up the third downs necessary when they needed to the most, and they were shooting themselves in the foot with a lot of critical penalties that really put them in second down and distances. The Jaguars' offense in terms of run game was absolutely there. Travis Etienne has been an explosive and essential player for the Jaguars offense, and he had a new career high today rushing the ball. 24 carries, 156 yards, and 1 touchdown, but the Jaguars offense averaged 6 yards per rush on 191 total yards on the ground. Great job there. But Trevor Lawrence was not good today, and I'll get into him in a little bit later more in depth. Trevor Lawrence today, 18 of 31, 133 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. I already alluded to Justin Simmons getting that interception at the 1-yard line on 1st and goal, Trevor. And then Trevor Lawrence also throwing that interception at the end of the game towards Christian Kirk. Not a good ball there either. Jaguars offense was stagnant, only 305 yards total offense today, and a majority of that coming from the running game. Not a good job there. Third down efficiency was average at best. The Jaguars didn't go forward on fourth down at all. A little bit surprising coming from a Doug Peterson style offense. But when you flip to the Jaguars defensive side of the ball, a couple of guys stood out to me. Guys like Trayvon Walker was going in there getting pressures, making his name felt and his presence felt. Arden Key and DeJuan Smoot did some great things on the defensive line. And then in the secondary, you can't say enough about a guy like Tyson Campbell, one of the better young corners in the game as well too. Came up with that big interception. Darius Williams, a homegrown guy, came came in there and was making a lot of plays as well too. But guys need to step up, man. Josh Allen was basically a no-show today, getting little to no pressure out there on Russell Wilson. And then guys like Foyesade Oluokun and other big name guys that we've paid just aren't making the necessary impact plays when the Jaguars defense needs it the most. And the Jaguars defense, I can't rank on them too much because they did hold the Broncos to 21 points offensively. And the Jaguars defense is still doing a good job by limiting what the Broncos have been able to do and just holding opponents to relatively low scores. This is on the offense for not getting the job done, and especially Trevor Lawrence not coming through. But let me actually address the Trevor Lawrence talk, and I won't get too far into it because this is still a recap video. But when it comes to Trevor Lawrence, I've been a huge supporter and defendant of him. I think that a lot of the scrutiny and criticism that he's gotten, especially in his second season, has not been warranted. And if you really want to hear my full thoughts, I will link to the video up above. Is Trevor Lawrence becoming a bust? You guys can go watch that to get my full thoughts on it. But just to kind of give a recap for today, Trevor Lawrence was bad. I'm not going to be cookie cutter. Trevor Lawrence was really bad today. And he's been bad. He's been inconsistent. We've seen Trevor Lawrence this season play at absolute highs where he looks like he's ascending to a top 10 quarterback, and then we've seen him at the bottom where he looks like a bottom 5 quarterback. I am still not worried about Trevor Lawrence in terms of long-term growth. Yes, there's a lot of boneheaded plays. Yes, you see some mechanical issues here and there, and you see him making some untimely interceptions. I get it. I'm not oblivious to this, okay? But to downright call him a bust, I still think it's way too early. I understand the expectations that were put on him, and I think me just being, on that side of the room, because I don't think a lot of people agree with the Trevor Lawrence support anymore. I think a lot of Jaguar fans are mentally checking out with him. And that's fine. You're entitled to your own opinion. I wholeheartedly disagree. I think Trevor Lawrence still has a lot of growth and a lot of room for improvement. There's definitely some guys that we need in order to, help take this offense to the next level. Travis Etienne's absolutely been one of them, but we need that vertical deep threat down the seams in order to open up this offense. We need another pass catching tight end because I like Evan Ingram a lot too, but I need to see some more consistency there. But also the Jaguars just need to not give up on Trevor Lawrence right now. Like I said, he's not been perfect, but he's not been the worst quarterback in the NFL. He's inconsistent, he has his ups and downs, but with Trevor Lawrence, I'm still standing on that side of the room of I still firmly believe he's the Jaguars franchise quarterback, and I'm really giving him to the end of next season. I know that might not be fair for a lot of you guys to say, and I know a lot of people want instant gratification and success. The Jaguars are now 0-6 in one-score games, and the Jaguars are beating themselves by self-inflicted wounds, and Trevor Lawrence has a lot to do with that. Like I said, I'm not oblivious to it. So I know the concern, I feel it, I hate losing just as much as everybody else does. And let me just end it by saying here, I still believe in Trevor Lawrence. I still believe Trevor Lawrence is the Jacksonville Jaguars franchise quarterback moving forward. He's got to play better. He's not perfect, but it's still too early to give up on this kid, and I truly believe in this kid and Doug Peterson moving forward. Once they continue to grow, learn, and get the right pieces together, I believe in Trevor Lawrence and I believe in Doug Peterson. But Jaguar fans, Broncos fans, I'm not going to keep it much longer than that. I mean, this was a pretty simple, straightforward video. The Jaguars did not get the job done. The Broncos were able to make the plays necessary when they needed to. And that's really my thoughts on this video. I hate losing just as much as everyone else. Broncos fans, congrats on getting a W in the win column. You guys needed that. But Jaguar fans, Broncos fans, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But thanks again for sticking around throughout the whole video. Brett James, aka BJ, I'm out, y'all. Go London Jags. Peace.